Could the Red Sox be looking to move their shortstop? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin. In the last video, we talked about how the Red Sox are looking to shed payroll in order to allocate those funds to other players. Now, again, this is absolutely ridiculous. So we're talking about this with the Boston Red Sox, a big market team, but that's where we're at. And the Red Sox already kind of confirmed that they are shopping around Kenley Jansen. That has been confirmed by multiple legitimate sources. However, another name that's been thrown around a little bit, maybe in a less legitimate way, is Trevor Story. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break down the idea of trading Trevor Story away from the Boston Red Sox, and we're going to break down why I think that's an absolutely terrible idea. But before we get into that, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start by talking about the legitimacy behind these Trevor Story rumors. Last video, we talked about Kenley Jansen, who had legitimate team-close sources who were saying that the Red Sox are looking to trade him, right? It feels as though Kenley Jansen is almost a lock to be gone by the start of 2024 and no longer in a Red Sox uniform as the Red Sox try to shed salary to allocate them to other players. However, the same cannot be said for Trevor Story. In fact, the only thing we have to go off of when it comes to the rumors surrounding Trevor Story is just that, rumors. There have been no confirmations by anyone with legitimate sources saying that the Red Sox are actively shopping Trevor Story. We have essentially anonymous Twitter accounts who have gotten some things correct and some things wrong, saying that the Red Sox have put his name out there. In my opinion, I don't think there's any legitimate heat behind the Trevor Story rumors at this moment. What I think the Red Sox did is they put out a feeler to see, hey, we need to shed some payroll. What do you think Trevor Story is going to get on the open market? And that led to these rumors being exposed a little bit. I don't think they're legitimately shopping him, but either way, again, we have no confirmation that this is actually happening by the Boston Red Sox. We have just rumors to go on. And again, in my opinion, if the Red Sox are actually trying to trade Trevor Story, this is a flat out terrible idea, and it's for a couple of different reasons. The first is because Trevor Story right now has absolutely no value at all. He still has yet to play a full season in a Red Sox uniform, and his first 2 years with the Red Sox have been at best partial seasons. Coming off of 2023, his value is at an all-time low. One, because of the fact that during his small time with the Red Sox in this season, he hit just 203 with a 250 on base percentage and a 316 slug, good for a 52 OPS plus, or about 48% less productive at the plate than the average hitter in the game. If you combine his statistics in 2023 with the fact that he's scheduled to make $22.5 million in 2024, he just flat out does not have any value. In fact, the only way the Red Sox are going to get anything of importance back with Trevor Story, unless they legitimately just want to shed his salary and don't really care what they get back, which in my opinion is a terrible mistake, they would have to include a large majority of his contract, which is entirely opposite of what we're seeing the Red Sox try and do with these trades over the last couple of days. They're looking to take on some of the salary, but they're also looking to get rid of some salary as well. And in order to get anything back from Trevor Story, you're going to have to take on basically his entire salary to get anything of value back. And I just don't think that's how the Red Sox are looking to make trades this offseason. So right off the bat, if we're talking just contractually and value on the market, Trevor Story being traded doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but there are other reasons outside of that as well. Look, I get it. Trevor Story's contract right now just simply does not look good for the Red Sox. He's getting paid a lot of money. He has yet to play a full season, but at the same time too, I think a lot of people are forgetting just how bad the Red Sox were defensively at shortstop in 2023. Kike Hernandez was quite literally the worst defender in the game at shortstop for most of the regular season. His defense alone cost the Red Sox at least a couple of games. Story, who only played 43 games last year, was the Red Sox best overall defensive player. He had 8 outs above average in just 43 games. That is ridiculous defensive numbers. If the Red Sox were to trade Trevor Story, they'd be creating a massive hole that would be really difficult to fill. Maybe Pablo Reyes can take over, but at best at the shortstop position last year, he was 1 outs above average, below the average. He wasn't a fantastic defender. They have David Hamilton maybe, who again was not a good defender and really was worse than Story at the plate. And then you've got Marcelo Meyer, who's not even close to Major League ready. What they'd be doing if they'd be trading Trevor Story, unlike Kenley Jansen, who has some legitimate, interesting replacements, Trevor Story has nobody. It would create a massive hole defensively for the Red Sox, and we saw what a massive hole defensively for the Red Sox at shortstop looks like just last season. Trading him away and losing that defensive ability, to me, is a massive loss to the Boston Red Sox. On top of that, as ridiculous as this may sound, Trevor Story has yet to have a regular offseason with this team. In 2022, he signed his contract extremely late and didn't get a full spring training because of the lockout and because of the time it took after the lockout to get free agents signed. Then he had a sickness and he had the birth of his kid, which caused another couple weeks to be missed at the beginning of the season. Obviously, in 2023, he gets his elbow surgery and ends up not being able to start the year with this team. 2024 is the first offseason where Trevor Story can have a regular build up to the regular season. And again, as ridiculous as this may sound, we just flat out do not know what Trevor Story is going to look like coming into a year where he has a full offseason to prepare, a full spring training to get ready for opening day. We just don't know what that looks like right now. And when we're talking about what impact Trevor Story could have on this team, even if he ends up with the OPS plus or with the statistics that he had in 2022, he's still one of the Red Sox best players. In 2022, he had a 238 average with a 303 on base percentage and a 434 slug, good for a 102 OPS plus, which was about league average production. However, the Red Sox need right-handed power really badly, and Trevor Story played 94 games with the Red Sox in 2022, where he had 16 home runs and 22 doubles. If you extrapolate that out to a full season, that's 27 home runs and 38 doubles, right? So even if he's not the biggest producer on the Red Sox, he's still going to be able to give you around 25 home runs with almost 40 doubles. That is an extremely productive player, and you combine that with the fact that Trevor Story is one of the best defensive players in the entire sport, and suddenly he becomes one of your best overall players, and that doesn't even include his ability to impact the game on the base paths. Trevor Story is a fantastic athlete, and for the first time in his contract, we're going to be getting a legitimate regular start to this season, and I think that's one of the more underrated parts of this whole equation. So far, we've seen what Trevor Story looks like battling back from injury, battling into an entirely new organization with a new kid and a sickness and a broken hand and all that stuff, but we haven't seen what Trevor Story looks like going into a regular season. Now, obviously, things can change and he could get hurt again and he could end up not having a regular offseason. That's definitely a risk, especially with Trevor Story. But at the same time, too, there's also a possibility he's able to come into the season fully healthy. I think a lot of fans are going to change their mind very quickly as to who Trevor Story could be, especially because of just how athletic he is. And if that isn't enough for you to want to keep Trevor Story around and avoid trading him, Trevor Story's also quickly becoming one of the biggest leaders of the Boston Red Sox. He's really stepped into a leadership role over the last season, and this offseason he's taken it to another level. Trevor Story is about to begin his infielder defensive camp with the players on the Boston Red Sox. A lot of young names are going to be there. A lot of the Red Sox top infield prospects are going to be there. But impactfully for the Red Sox in 2024, they've got Emmanuel Valdez going, Tristan Casas going. They just pulled, literally today, Vaughn Grissom from his winter ball to be with Trevor Story in Dallas doing this infield stuff. And Rafael Devers is going. Trevor Story not only impacts the game on the field, but his influence impacts everyone else on the infield as well. What Trevor Story could do, basically single-handedly, is really start to improve the entirety of the Red Sox infield defense. That sort of impact is really hard to come by one singular player, and allowing him to walk just strictly based on shedding payroll, to me, makes absolutely no sense. Look, at the end of the day, again, I get it, right? I understand why Red Sox fans could want Trevor Story off this team. The contract flat out does not look great right now, but to trade him for absolutely nothing seems like an absolute fail on the Boston Red Sox part, because all that's going to do is save the Red Sox money they don't really need to save. They're under the luxury tax. They have room before they even get to the luxury tax. If they lop off Kenley Jansen, they're going to have about $50 million to play around with. with? Do they really need $75 million to play around with for basically a return of nothing? And on top of that, even if they do want something back, they're going to have to take a lot of that contract anyway, so you're just paying him to play somewhere else. It just doesn't compute. Then you add in the fact that he can be one of the Red Sox best players in 2024 if he remains healthy, because again, even if he doesn't give you a full 162 season and say he misses 20 games, you're still getting 140 games, a majority of the year, with a guy who is going to give you power from the right side and some of the best defense in baseball. He's going to be a leader of this team that doesn't have a leader right now. It flat out does not have a leader. They traded away Chris Sale. They're not bringing back Justin Turner. They're probably not bringing back Adam Duvall. They don't have someone who's going to direct these younger players on how to be better at the major league level and be sort of the anchor of this team, which appears as though Trevor Story is starting to step into. All of these intangibles, legitimate statistics, the fact that he's going to be having a full offseason to prepare and get ready for the 2024 season, something we have not seen yet, are all, in my opinion, way bigger pros than they are cons surrounding the Trevor Story contract right now. And again, there's no guarantee that he's going to stay healthy, and I get that point, but there's also no guarantee that he's going to get injured as well. And assuming that he's going to get injured because of some really crappy luck that he's had over the last couple of years is just something I'm not willing to do. If the Red Sox legitimately trade Trevor Story, I'm going to be extremely upset, because the literal only reason they have to trade Trevor Story is to shed payroll. And you're the Boston goddamn Red Sox. You don't need to shed that much money to get other players in here. You don't need to get rid of Trevor Story to get a Teoscar Hernandez and a pitcher in a trade, or Jordan Montgomery, Shota Manga, or even Blake Snell on a short-term contract. You don't need to do that. If you want to do that, that's a big, big issue. And in my opinion, there's a huge difference between the Red Sox trading Kenley Jansen, where there's a legitimate replacement, and trading Trevor Story, where you're creating a massive hole both on the infield, in the batter's box, and in the clubhouse as well. To me, this makes absolutely no sense. But I want your opinions on this matter as well. I want you to tell me whether or not you would trade Trevor Story and why. Are there any points I made in this video that you think you can argue against? Is there a reason why you would trade Trevor Story? And if there isn't, let me know what you think Trevor Story will be able to do in 2024. Let me know all your thoughts on the possible rumors of the Red Sox trying to trade Trevor Story in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you made it to the end here, you clearly enjoyed the content, you might as well hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.